Greetings! I'm Tantus Narvan Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire, and welcome! It's time to continue our discussions on Advanced Dungeons & Dragons AD&D. In this episode, I'm going to move away from character creation, because we pretty much finished that off, and start talking about some of the combat rules. I'm just going to get into some basics right now, but it's going to help you out moving into fighting it out if you're using an AD&D game. So let's just begin about it. Now, the book goes into a lot of definitions about things. It talks about attack rolls, it talks about armor class, it talks about initiative. It talks about saving throws, which are resistance to certain types of special attacks and special things that would affect you. And then, of course, it talks about THAC0, to hit armor class of 0. THAC0 is a number that every character has that tells you how much you have to roll on a d20 dice to hit something that has an armor class of 0. If something has an armor class that's is different from 0, they would either subtract or add to this number. So let's say if I had a negative number, I would add it on. You're going to subtract whatever number your AC is from that number. So if I have an AC of 10, I would subtract 10 from it and be 10 less. Then again, if I had an AC of -2, it would end up, I'm subtracting a negative, which is adding it. That's a little bit of math knowledge there for you. So if I'm subtracting a -2, it becomes adding 2 to that. So if my THAC0 was 20, I would need a 22, which might be pretty impossible for me with my character at the time. Now, when making your attack roll for using the THAC0, you'd be adding whatever your d20 roll is. You'd be adding, if you had any strength, bonuses from strength to the attack, if your weapon gave any bonuses, or if there's any other kind of special or supernatural bonuses that says it adds to your attack. And you'd be trying to meet or beat the number that your THAC0 roll will tell you to hit. Because you will calculate how much you have to roll with their THAC0 with your THAC0 minus their AC would tell you the target number you have to hit. Now, it does mention in here different types of weapons with bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing versus armor, and having some differences in AC and defenses. But this is an optional rule. I don't tend to use it. If you want to use it for your games, or you think your game master is going to use it, if you think your DM is going to use it in their game, talk to them, figure it out, and you can look at it yourself. Now, a 20 is an automatic hit, and a 1 is a 20 automatic miss on your d20 roll. These are very important things you have to know about, because when you're rolling, you can still automatically hit no matter how hard it is. So if I'm fighting something that for some reason has a negative AAC, and I'm a first level character, so my THAC0 would be still 20, because every character starts out as a 20 THAC0 at first level, and it goes from there, it goes down lower and lower. But regardless, so it has a 28 target number that I have to hit, and I'm only getting like +1 to my roll. If I roll a 20, I can still hit it. Otherwise, I would not hit it at all. I just have that lucky chance of smacking it in the spot where it's a weak point. On the other hand, 1 is an automatic miss no matter what bonus I have. I might have such a high bonus that I could not miss this person with their terrible AC, but I could still miss if I roll a 1. THAC0 is based on class group, so if you want to figure out what your THAC0 is, as I said, it starts at 20, look to your class group and it will tell you what it is. Now, combat is divided into rounds and turns. A round is about 1 minute. A turn is about 10 rounds. The basic things you can do in your round is attack, use a spell, drink a potion, use a magic item, or a whole list of other things that they do say in the book that you can do during your round. Now, there are some non-actions you can do that take no time. These would be such things as shouting or talking briefly, or even changing a weapon, like putting one away and picking another one out. They do not count as any sort of action or any kind of time take-up during this point. Now, the sequence of play goes like this, that the DM decides what the monsters and NPCs are doing, then the PCs decide what all they are doing, then initiative is rolled, and then sides go in order of highest to lowest initiative. Now, there are a couple of options that they give for initiative. The one they mention is to roll a d20 on each side, and then the 2 sides go, and it would just be like you would choose some kind of order in amongst those creatures to go in that order. Or each individual creature can roll into initiative and then go in that order, so maybe you would split up teams of things. So you can roll initiative as team or as singular, and they do give another couple of options in the book if you have how you want to use your initiative. I like the one where everybody rolls it separately and then just goes in order of whatever they roll. Roll off on ties to see who goes first between the 2 of them. That's my traditional way of doing it. Now they do talk about using creatures that have multiple attacks, whether it's from a class, a spell, or certain monsters that have it, and how you'd split it up in between the initiatives. They give the basic rules for that. They give the basic rules for spell casting and how it affects your initiative depending on the casting time of the spell. Certain spells take longer to cast than others, and it will say in the book how it affects your initiative. It is at this point in time where they bring up the optional weapon speed rules. I do not use the weapon speed rules. I'm not as familiar with them. I haven't used them before, but again, if your DM uses these rules, or you think your DM is going to use those rules, talk to them about it. You can consult the book and learn about this optional rule of weapon speed. So that's all I wanted to talk about today. I've gone over some of the basics of Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. I've defined a few terms that are going to be very useful to you. I've talked about THAC0. I've talked about the basics of the combat round, and I've talked about a good chunk about how initiative is determined, and attack rolls too. So if you have any questions, comments, anything you think I left out, please leave it in the comments below. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this video. It shows your support for the channel, for the Empire. Please subscribe. It's another way, important way of showing your support. It shows that you want to become a citizen, a member of the Empire. Please share this video if you think of anybody that would enjoy it, would learn anything from it. And until the next time, I bid you farewell.